Hi everybody, Justin Elliott here with Elliott's Estate Sales here in Oklahoma. For those of you that do not know, I am a full-time reseller. That means I go into thrift stores and estate sales and any kind of liquidation sale, and I buy things low and I sell them high, whether it be on Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon, or eBay. And then full-time, I go into people's homes and businesses and I set up and liquidate their entire contents in about 14 days at an estate sale or an auction. So if you've never been to an Elliott's Estate Sales, please subscribe. Go to our website. Our website can be found at estatesalesokc.com or estatesalestulsa.com, and you can reach me at 405-757-4001. Now in today's video, I want to talk about the etiquette of shopping estate sales and business closures and thrift stores. Being educated, being prepared, and just making the experience better for everyone involved. Hi everybody, hi everybody, hi everybody. This is Justin Elliott with Elliott's Estate Sales. This is Justin Elliott with Elliott's Estate Sales. This is Justin Elliott with Elliott Preview for our Preston Hills Estate Sale this weekend. This is going to be number 2 of 3 estate sales that we've got going on this weekend. We'll go ahead and get started. Now I do have notes, and I hope that you don't mind me looking down. I want to try to keep this as concise as possible. I do have lots of things to get through, and so we'll go ahead and get started. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you're prepared, and prepared so much that you read all of the advertisements, you review all of the photos that could be and should be provided by any professional liquidator. You want to know what to do if you want to buy a high-end purchase. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's a piano, maybe it's a very nice fine piece of jewelry. You want to know what the requirements on those items are. For instance, say they have a $15,000 car for sale, and the sale is on Saturday, and you're not really sure if you're interested in the car. You're really interested in the car, but once you get there, you know, that car was advertised in a way where it was perfection, and then it does have many flaws, and it can happen. It's a secondhand car, but most professional, honest liquidators will be very upfront with you and provide all the pictures of the damage and the defects in the product. That being said, say you decide you want it, and it's Saturday, and you look at your clock and you say, look, all the banks are going to close at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I don't have $15,000 cash where I can just give you. You know, you need to know whether or not you could pay $500 down and pay the rest, you know, after the close of the sale, maybe on Monday when the banks open, and you're able to notarize a title and be able to provide insurance on that purchase. Because if you purchase a car, especially here in Oklahoma at Elliott's Estate Sales, I'm going to require that you provide insurance, your driver's license, and before you drive that car off, I'm going to need a cashier's check or cash for all of your purchase. And so if you don't want to have to come back to the estate sale or meet with someone after the estate sale to get that purchase transaction over with, you know, you need to be prepared. And so calling that estate sale company or that business closure estate sale company and finding out all these details can be very helpful. It can save you time and save the time of the estate liquidators as well. Okay. Next on the list would be review the payment methods before attending the estate sale. A lot of estate sale companies here in Oklahoma, they're going to be cash only. And you know, they don't want a paper trail. Most people won't even issue receipts, and it's a very cash friendly business. And so that being said, if you come in unexpectedly and you don't bring any cash, you can't buy anything in the entire house. And so it's just very off-putting, and it puts your estate liquidator in an awkward position because you've loaded all this stuff up and now they're going to have to put it back or trust that you're going to come back with your credit card and or debit card. Or cash, because a lot of estate liquidators are not going to do that. They're going to put your stuff right back for sale, and you're going to leave, and all those items are not going to be back when you come back to the liquidation. And so it's very important for you to know the policies, rules, and regulations for you to get your items out, be able to arrange, you know, piano pickup if you're going to buy an upright piano, if you're going to buy a baby grand or a very large piece of anything, whether it be tools or artillery, etc. You want to have a plan before you buy that item so that you don't put the estate liquidator and yourself and other shoppers in a bind because of your purchase. So it's very important that you consider that before you make a purchase. Okay, next on the list, Let's see. You want to make sure that you are very well informed of these policies and how to shop the estate sale. Not every estate sale company is the same. Not every auction company is the same. Most of them operate by very stringent, strict rules, especially if you're dealing with someone that's been in the business for a very long time and has seen all and dealt with all. You're going to see lots and lots of rules. And if you know the rules and if you've been shopping with that company for a very long time, then you're probably going to be well aware of the expectations of you as a buyer. Next on the list, I would say you want to get there first. You want to get there absolutely first. You want to get there at least an hour to 45 minutes early if there is something in that estate sale that you absolutely cannot do without. If there is something in that estate sale that you think that could be mismarked, underpriced, or overpriced, and you want to negotiate, you absolutely want to see that estate sale first before anyone else. And you can review the photos, and if you shop in Elliott's estate sale, I provide not only hundreds of photos, very detailed photos of every item in the sale, but I also do a live preview generally before I start the estate sale, after I have set up the estate sale, and then I will do a live preview of the entire sale after it's been priced. So it's very easy for you to know, where the items are at in the home, how much the items have been priced, and you'll know the rules and policies and regulations because all of those are provided for you 24 hours a day at estatesalesokc.com or estatesalestulsa.com if we're operating in Tulsa. I would advise that you bring IKEA bags. And I'll try to post, a photo over here of the kind of IKEA bags that I'm talking about. They're kind of made of like a parachute material, and they're very heavy duty, and you can put a lot of stuff in them. It will save you a lot of time. It will save paper. It will save bags, plastic bags that will be unused. And it just makes it easier for everyone around you when you can collect all the things that you've purchased and get them out of the home after you've pick the items that you select. I would definitely suggest if you're going to buy something that is larger, you want to get boxes. Not every estate sale is going to have plenty of boxes and plastic tubs and containers for you to take your purchases out. So bringing boxes and being prepared to carry those items out is very important. I even suggested that people bring a small tool set. Because sometimes you buy a piece of furniture and maybe it was built in the room that it is sitting in, and you're going to have to take the legs off of something. Maybe you're going to have to unwire something, and tools are very helpful. Now, I provide, and I normally have a small tool set up at the cash register stand, but I don't always get all my tools back. Sometimes people take them with them when they leave, and so it's very difficult to keep up with a full tool set each and every estate sale. So you as a seller, keeping that in your car, keeping bags and boxes and what have you, and some cash on you is very helpful. Another thing that I will add is that you never want to come in and be rude and disrespectful to a bunch of estate liquidators, because you will very quickly get a very nasty reputation. Now, I can think of several estate shoppers that are resellers that have a shop here in Oklahoma City, or maybe they're just dealers that are starting out, and they have bad attitudes, really bad attitudes, and they do not respect the profession of an estate liquidator as going in and setting up and dealing with the family, dealing with the public, and negotiating. They are very disrespectful. The couple right now that I can think of that are not welcome at an Elliott's estate sale. They still try to attend, and I very politely remind them that their presence isn't welcome. You have to realize that when you go to an estate sale, most of those estate sale companies are going to have 1 to 50 estate sales in 1 year. Specifically, Elliott's estate sales. Normally, when we're going full-time and we are accepting estate sales full-time and my schedule allows, I will take anywhere between 1 and 3 estate sales in a weekend if I need to accommodate all of the people that are needing our services. So you make one bad mistake at an estate sale and you're either rude to the staff, you cause a big fit over a price in a negotiation haggle, something like that, and you're just completely uninvited from that estate sale company's estate sales for a lifetime. And most estate liquidators have a very good memory. Not only can they memorize prices and where items were and maybe price tags that were removed from those items by sneaky dealers, we also have a very good memory of people that come in and make us upset. Because it's very difficult to keep your mind positive and be in a good positive mindset to be able to, do a 10-hour estate sale, let alone setting up an entire estate sale, pricing an entire estate sale, cleaning, vacuuming, and preparing an estate sale for all the shoppers. So it's very important that you keep in mind what all an estate liquidator has to do just for you, the reseller or the shopper, to enjoy an estate sale. I would encourage you to negotiate on prices. Most estate liquidators, me being for one, now I don't really like to do a lot of negotiation, especially within the first couple of hours of an estate sale. Now I do respect the fact that you're maybe a reseller, maybe you live 30 minutes away from the estate sale, etc. And now you knew that when you came to the estate sale, you knew when you drove 30 minutes in your car to the estate sale that you'd probably be having to come back the next day to redeem those lower discounted, higher discounted items the next day. But you will have people that come in that put a lot of pressure on an estate liquidator because, they drove all the way from Norman and the traffic is terrible and they don't want to come back and, yada, yada, yada. I've heard it all. Like I said, I've been in this business since 2012 and I've dealt with customer service all of my life. And as much as I respect your time, you need to respect an estate liquidator's time as well. We're trying to sell everything in an entire home, generally within about a 10 hours to 14-hour estate sale, and that's over 2 or 3 days. And we've been there for 2 weeks. We've had to drive there every day for a week or 2 weeks. So you having to drive there an extra 30 minutes, that's not really our concern. So our concern is to sell the items, get the most amount of items, and make sure that the property is actually kept in one piece and that people don't destroy it. Now, social media is killer, and I cannot say enough how social media has impacted my success in the business, my sellers' success in the business and selling their stuff. You want to join Facebook groups with estate liquidators. You want to join Elliot's Estate Sales group. I have a group on Facebook. If you go up and look for in the search tab an estate sale or on Facebook, what you'll do is you'll type Elliot's Estate Sales and then there'll be a group that's called a community and then there'll be my actual page. The group is less formal and you'll be able to get more insights to estate sale, what's being for sale, and what the prices are, etc. Not everybody has a group. I do have a group. I use social media to the fullest, to the extent, including doing educational YouTube videos for my sellers and my buyers and my potential customers and sellers. You want to ask people in estate liquidators when you go into their estate sale if it's your first time. Ask them if they have an email list. I know that it might sound a little bit old school and traditional to ask for an email list, as this is not 1995 and AOL days, when you're having to, stand by an email all day just to see whether or not they have an estate sale. But ask for that email. Most estate sale companies are going to have an email list. Please, please, please ask for that email list and ask to be added to that email list. If you are not on my estate sale email list, you can go to estatesalesokc.com. There'll be a box at the left-hand corner on the very front page, I believe, that says subscribe. You can type in your email there. I will email you generally only if we have an estate sale. I am not a person and I'm not a business that emails people unnecessarily. I feel like email is very much like a post mail service and mail service. You really only want to get things that are including an estate sale, period. So keep that in mind. I do not sell your list. I do not sell my list. Nothing like that goes on. Your privacy and confidentiality is of the utmost importance to me. I will also tell you, you want obviously Facebook. You want to follow people on Facebook. You want to follow people on Twitter. You want to follow estate sale companies on Instagram. Go to their website. Their website is going to give you a plethora of information and insight into their business, how they operate, how professional they are, and you'll be able to get an idea maybe of past sales, how they set up things. I am a very orderly person, and how I do one estate sale is how I do another estate sale. And you'll find a lot of similarities between estate sale companies in the way that they set up their stuff, the way that they display their stuff, how they advertise, and how they price. So that'll be very helpful for you as well. Keep that in mind. Another thing I would advise you to ask about when you're going through home and business closure sales. Ask about the fixtures. Ask about the fixtures. You always want to ask about the overhead lighting, maybe light switches, curtain rods, curtains, blinds, etc. Now, most times at Elliot's Estate Sales, I will ask my sellers to disconnect the washer and dryer because we don't want any flooding. Disconnect the refrigerator for the water in the door and the ice in the door. We don't want any flooding. Disconnect all electrical outlets. Disconnect any kind of overhead lighting that you would like to sell, because you don't want someone in an estate sale going through your electronic or electrical wires and such. You could create a fire hazard. You could create leaks, an electrical situation where sellers may be hurt or buyers may be hurt rather. You do not want that. But don't be afraid to ask about the fixtures, because sometimes homes are either being foreclosed on, they're going to be knocked down, they're going to be completely re-renovated and remodeled. And those older 60s fixtures that are super awesome that you love, they might be available for you for sale. Maybe you can buy them. Maybe you can meet up with the estate liquidation company on Monday, and maybe they'll hire, or maybe you can hire an electrician to come in and properly remove those items. Obviously, inspect all of your items before you make a purchase. Most items are sold as is, where is, no warranties expressed or implied. So just keep that in mind. Next thing is one of my largest pet peeves at an estate sale. Now, I see the benefit of them, and them I am speaking about estate sale tables, estate sale sold tables. And generally those tables are going to be located near the cash register. And so what people would like to do, and the general idea is that if you go through the entire home and you start to pick up one small item, you could just take it to the sold table. And then if you find 5 or 10 other items, you could just take it to the sold table. And then you find other things throughout the house, and you just pick those items up and you take them to the sold table. They're not technically sold until you've purchased them. And that may be an Elliot's Estate Sales rule and Elliot's Estate Sales policy. But I'll explain to you the problem. The problem is that you've got 50 or 100 people in an estate sale, depending on how large it is. You know, we liquidate estate sales anywhere from 1,000 to 20 or 30,000 square foot of home, maybe out buildings, other, an estate sale over acres of areas. So there might be some multiple sold areas. And you're just going through this entire sale and just sticking items on the sold table, just hoarding them on the sold table. Well, what happens? What happens is there's other dealers and other estate sale shoppers that are very skilled and knowledgeable, and they see those items that you've picked up. And then they start shopping the sold table while you're shopping, and you think you've already purchased all those items. Well, that's not the case, because at an Elliot's Estate Sales, nothing is sold until it's been paid for, and you can prove that you've paid for it with a receipt. So that being said, what ends up happening is everybody piles everything at a sold table. You've got 100 people at an estate sale, everybody acting all crazy and going nuts, because it's just, an estate sale is a very fun, exciting thing. You get to get an opportunity to go into a home you've never been into probably, and you get to see a bunch of really awesome stuff that somebody else loved and they picked out and they handpicked for their own home and enjoyed for many, many years. And then it comes time to check out. And I've got 5 or 10 people in line and everybody's fighting over the same stuff. And you put an estate liquidator and a cashier and the staff in a bind because you didn't purchase your items when you actually put them on the table. Now, a sold table is there as a convenience for you, and it causes lots and lots and lots of fights at my estate sales. And so normally I will do away with an estate sale sold table, and I will advise you that if you buy something, buy it, bag it up, go take it to your car, and come back. And the reason why I do that is simply because I don't want any arguments. I don't want any drama at my estate sales. We try to keep our estate sales very positive, in a very positive light. And if you are negative and if you're causing a problem, you will be asked to leave. So just keep that in mind when you come to an estate sale. You are on someone's private property and you have been invited. It is not your right to shop an estate sale. It is an opportunity. So keep that in mind. Be graceful, be humble, be polite. And people will remember that. And the next time you come to an estate sale liquidated by that company, they might just hold the door open for you and you might get an extra discount just because you It's very important to consider when you're going into someone's home multi-levels. A lot of the estate sales that we liquidate in, they're going to be 2 stories. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of bedrooms upstairs and there's none downstairs. All the heavy furniture is going to be upstairs. And you're going to be required as the purchaser to lift that furniture up downstairs and then lift it into your pickup or moving vehicle. it can cause a risk, and it can be very painful if somebody falls. It can be a disaster. Lots of liability can happen. Now, we do hold insurance on all of our events. We are prepared if somebody slips and falls and they hurt themselves. So this is definitely something that you want to check on, as well as when you're shopping an estate sale, is because most homeowners insurance is not going to cover any kind of liability of an estate sale. When a homeowner's insurance bids your homeowner's insurance, no one takes into account that you're going to invite the entire state of Oklahoma to your home to shop the things in your house. It's not a retail store. So it's very important that you make sure that your estate sale companies are properly insured, not only for the protection of the sellers, but protections of the buyers as well. So that's something that can take into consideration. A lot of estate sales are not handicap accessible. This is also something that's very important to remember. If you have somebody that's handicapped or wheelchair bound in your home, I personally will do the best I can to accommodate you, but a lot of estate sale companies are not going to want you to come into that estate sale. The reason being is because you're immediately causing a fire hazard. What if there is a fire and what if there is an emergency in the home, and you're in a wheelchair, you're in a hover-round, you're in something that people are going to be marching over you. You may not be able to go through certain floors in the home, and it's going to limit the fun that you can have in an estate sale. So it's something to take into consideration when you look at an estate sale and you attend estate sales. But handicap folks are definitely welcome at an Elliott's estate sale. And don't be offended if an estate liquidator watches you like a hawk. And I say that because there is a lot of theft that goes on in an estate sale. There is a lot of dishonest behavior that goes on in an estate sale by dealers, because people want to be able to get items for nothing, and they want to be able to resell them for the sky is the limit. And a lot of people are going to be professional, and they're going to be professionals, whereas other people are going to take the road less taken. And so when we're watching you, it is our job to protect the items within the home. At an Elliott's estate sales, normally you will find security, whether it be a on-site sheriff, an undercover sheriff, or an Oklahoma City Police Department police officer. We do the most we can to be able to protect the items and the assets of the seller, as well as keep the peace and protect our buyers. So definitely do not feel like we're watching you like a hawk. We are, but we're doing it because we're paid to do so, and we're operating on the best interests of the sellers. I would tell you, don't really expect to haggle with estate liquidators. Most estate liquidators, within the first day, the prices are firm. And they're firm because we do have a great experience in liquidating estate sales, and most of us are dealers. We do know the resale value of these items. We do know the secondhand market value, and we know where to sell them. So that being said, I know estate liquidators, just like Goodwill on a Sunday, they will pull all of the discount color off of the shelves because they want you to shop the new wares. There are estate liquidators in Oklahoma City that will take all the discounted items that they know that they can resell, and they will buy them with their commission discount. So say you're making 30% of the estate sale. Well, half off day comes. Well, you have the first opportunity to buy everything in the entire home for 80% of what it's marked. And there are estate liquidators who do that in Oklahoma City. And if you shop a lot of estate sales in Oklahoma City, you know who those resellers and those estate liquidators are. Now, I am not one of those. I buy all of my items myself. I do thrift all of my own items. I generally do not resell items from an estate sale unless I have purchased them or the seller has paid me to clear out the home of the removal of the items that have been left over. So that's very important for you to watch out for when you're attending an estate sale. Next thing would be, again, me telling everyone that they need to be graceful and humble, and just remember that you're invited to an estate sale, and it is not your right to shop an estate sale. Don't come into an estate sale and start disapproving of prices. Do not verbally say, "Oh my gosh, that is so high," because again, things are priced appropriately to retail value and appropriate to secondhand market value. An estate liquidator is there to negotiate for you. We are there to liquidate everything in the home, but we're not there to liquidate everything in the home within the first 30 minutes. So that being said, when you come in and you're a dealer, And if you don't like a price, politely come up to one of the estate liquidators or someone that works for the company and say, look, I see this is marked X. Would you be able to take my offer of so and such? And you want to be polite as possible. You do not want to publicly and out loud shame prices at an estate sale. It will get you kicked out or removed from an estate sale, I promise you. We do not like negative people. We do not like negative attitudes in an estate sale. We want to keep everything positive and keep everybody in a buyer's frame of mind. And so I hope that you will respect that next time you go to an estate sale. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to an estate sale and I have heard a dealer say, nasty things about an estate sale company, whether they're too high or they're keeping all this stuff for themselves, or you obviously don't want to sell this because it's marked too high. You do not want to be that person. You will be asked to leave most of the time. So keep that in mind when you go onto someone else's private property to shop. Another thing about that, if you do redeem really good deals at an estate sale, say, I don't know, maybe you shop an estate sale that is liquidated by a newbie company, a company that's been only around for about 4 or 5 years. And you'll see this quite often here in Oklahoma City. I see it more and more every day. In the last 10 years, I'm sorry, my nose is itching. In the last 10 years of me being in this business, I have seen maybe 20 or 30 estate sale companies come and go. And a lot of it is either mom and pop places that go to an estate sale and they think, oh, this is super easy, we can do this. Or it is a dealer that used to have a shop that is not profitable any longer, and they've closed their brick and mortar store and they've started doing estate sales because they have the experience of reselling and knowing the secondhand value of things, but they don't have the experience of dealing with the public in a short-term basis on-site sale. So that being said, you want to make sure that you do not, when you get a good deal, immediately start screaming out to everybody in the public. Do not talk about how much money you're going to make off of those items. Do not talk about how much those items sell for on eBay. Again, please act professional. Remember that you're within somebody else's home, because no one really cares about how much money you're going to make. If you want to share those, comments with the people on your Facebook page, with the people that maybe you're in a group with, or if you want to share them on Elliot's estate sales page, do it after the estate sale. Do not do it on the property of the seller. It's very disrespectful, and it's a bad taste of a reseller. So another thing to keep in mind. I see it all the time, and I love that you're going to make money, but no one else cares. I do feel comfortable about peeking around the house. Now, if there are signs that say explicitly, nothing behind this door is for sale, or keep out, or it's an area that's marked off, you will get yourself thrown out of an estate sale really quickly if you don't mind and pay attention to the rules on the signage. But don't be afraid to poke around in the bathroom. If there's stuff for sale in the bathroom and it's priced and it's marked, go into the bathroom. You can find a lot of really great deals and really cool stuff. In estate sale, a lot of times it could be a little older lady's home. It could be a millionaire's home. We need every flat surface of anything in the entire home, because sometimes there's just not enough tables in the world to be able to properly display all of the home's stuff properly. So don't be afraid to take a peek in the closet and go in the closet. Sometimes you can find really cool designer bags, designer items, expensive high-end shoes. So definitely look in every nook. And lastly, and estate sales are amazing experiences that should be shared. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring people that have never been to an estate sale. Buying secondhand and buying reusable items is what we need. I know it's very easily, done to go onto Amazon, order something, and it's shipped to your home the next day. But we have plenty and plenty of landfills full of unusable and unwanted items, and if we could save just 1% of those items here in Oklahoma, it would do us all a lot of good, and you would be able to have a lot of really cool items that are actually well made and made to last, and not just made from China that are going to wear out in a couple of months or Come to the estate sale and enjoy yourself. Have a good time, laugh, look at things, go down memory lane, and have fun. Estate sales are meant to be fun. It's meant to be a positive environment, and we want to keep it in a positive environment. Greet your friends, greet us, come back and see us every estate sale. Let us know, what you maybe sold something for, but do it in a private manner. Do not do it in out loud manner. I hope you enjoyed the content that I have provided here. I think that I tried to include as many tips and insider information as I possibly could. If you have insider information, if you've had great luck shopping in estate sales by doing certain things, let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. I have lots of videos that are available for your watching. Tips on how to shop an estate sale, how to set up an estate sale consultation videos, and most importantly, subscribe and like the video. Have a great day.